It's a great day. It's a great day. It's always a great day when the governor's here, but today may be a little extra special great day. Good morning. Welcome to Binghamton University. I'm Harvey Stenger, president of Binghamton University. We've got a special announcement today, but first let me welcome our special guests that are with us. There's extra special guests too, so they'll be introduced a little bit later. But I want to introduce the special guest, County Executive Deborah Preston. Thank you for coming, Debbie. Binghamton Mayor Rich David. Thank you, Rich. Town of Union Supervisor Rose Sotak. Johnson City Mayor Greg Demi. Sorry, Greg. And our favorite motor vehicles commissioner, Barb Fiala. You know, at Binghamton University, we've always recognized that an education should lead to great employment. It should be linked to the job openings of the future as well as today. And for years, we've been working hard to make Binghamton University that kind of a school, even through our liberal arts programs. We produce students and graduates that go into the fields of engineering, business, management, healthcare, and the applied sciences, and law. The dream of the School of Pharmacy matches that vision. Pharmacy is probably the fastest growing profession in our country today, and today we are going to announce the location of this new building. And it was certainly enabled. Enabled is not the right word. There's a big capital E in front of that, enabled by our governor, Andrew Cuomo, Senator Libous, Assemblywoman Lepardo, and the other members of the New York State Legislature. This new school will build on our strengths in health sciences and healthcare. It's going to bring faculty and students and entrepreneurs, healthcare partners to conduct world-class research, the development of new products, and innovative education in pharmacy. It's going to pursue solutions for critical global health problems while at the same time supporting local, regional, and statewide economic growth. When you learn more about the location, you will understand that it will probably be the best pharmacy school in the country because it is built on historic land, the beginning of the Endicott Johnson Shoe Company, and right across the street from UHS Hospital, a great partner of ours now and in the future. But it's more than just a building next to a building. It's also going to be integrated into our Startup New York framework. It'll add space and locations for companies that will develop pharmaceutical products, drug delivery systems, and healthcare analysis methods. We've all got a little bit of a role in this today, so my role is just to kind of get things started, and the next person who's going to make the big announcement is our favorite senator, who we hope is our senator forever and ever, Tom Libous.
I'm going to cheat here because I know this is here because I had them put that there many years ago. How's that? And now you can see me. Thank you, President Harvey Stenger. I want to start out with a little story. I always do that when the governor comes to town because I have always good stories with Governor Cuomo. And I know that sometimes people get mad at me because I have a good working relationship with this governor, and he's not the same party I am. But that's why you send me to Albany, isn't it? To get things done, to work with people, to cooperate, and to deliver back home. And that's what we've been able to do with this governor for the last 4 years. Today, as President Stenger said, we go to the next phase of developing this world-class college that we have called Binghamton University. In December, I know that President Stenger was very interested in moving forward and building a pharmacy school. It's going to cost a lot of money. Didn't think we were going to get there. But I had one of my nighttime chats with our great governor, and he talked to me. He says, what's the next step at Binghamton University? We've got Startup New York going, and we do, Governor, have some new jobs that are going to be started through that program here at Binghamton, and we hope many more will come. We have a 2020 SUNY plan that has continued to build on the excellence of engineering and healthcare and the wonderful things that we do here. And I said to the governor, the president would like to have a school of pharmacy. And the governor said, can you make it work? Do you think it's something that can be attractive and work along with the mission of Binghamton University? And we said, yes, we can. And he then asked me, where are you going to locate it? And we talked about how successful, and Mayor David is here and tell you that many years ago we put a facility in downtown Binghamton and have seen a lot of great accomplishments, student activity, other businesses build around that. And downtown Binghamton is growing and becoming a nice little center, maybe not the same retail center it was 40 years ago, but it's a different kind of activity and excitement. And so we said we want to do that same excitement in Johnson City. We have a world-class hospital, we need health services. We'd like to build our pharmacy school in Johnson City. And Governor said, I'm going to put $10 million in the budget for land acquisition. Harvey got excited. We came back and I said, Harvey, this is a go. The governor's good with it. We want to move forward. Today, I'm very pleased to announce that we have purchased property in Johnson City to build a 70,000 square foot pharmacy school facility that will only be the beginning of a rebirth of the village. You can clap. It will only be the beginning because we will also use the Startup New York program that the governor has created to bring in pharmaceutical companies with employees and research and activity and growth. So not only will we start out with students and go to a maximum of maybe 240 to 250, but we will bring in startup companies and research in the pharmaceutical industry. That's what we need here, jobs, right? That's what we're going to get. So before I introduce to you my colleague in the Assembly, I want to say to Governor Cuomo, thank you, sir, because if it wasn't for the governor, we wouldn't be making this announcement. He made it happen. He believed in us. He believed in the plan. And, sir, we can't thank you enough. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you my colleague and partner in Albany, someone that I enjoy working with for the last 10 years. That's Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo, and I will leave the step up.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate your sharing that story. And thank you, Governor. It's always a pleasure to see you here at Binghamton University. The last time I was with the governor, I just reeled in a bass at the governor's Bass Master Challenge. He gave us fish rulers to bring out on the boat, and I got a 6-incher. 6-incher. Woohoo! You know, honestly, the governor has done such a wonderful job promoting the state of New York, certainly through tourism and through many other avenues. We've been all over the place with him trying to promote the wonders of upstate New York. But what we are talking about today is helping to forge important community and university partnerships. He has done such a wonderful job throughout the state in promoting these projects. Look at the Regional Economic Development Councils alone. What we've been able to accomplish by regional collaboration has really been just phenomenal. And today's announcement regarding the pharmacy school at Binghamton University is another example of that leadership. This is a very exciting development for Binghamton University under the leadership of Harvey Stenger. Harvey, we really appreciate the way you've been bringing the university really into the 21st century and beyond. We're very, very appreciative. I'd like to give you some recognition for that work. You know, what's exciting for me is this adds a very significant piece to their already impressive portfolio of research and innovation. And what attracts me to the issue of a new pharmacy school is that the field of pharmacy is evolving. It really is not your grandfather's pharmacy school that you're trying to build right here. This is going to be able to tie in to the new developing field of biotechnology, and advances in science are going to allow us to put together innovative new drugs, custom drugs to treat specific individuals and populations based on their genetic profiles. And I am so thrilled for everyone, especially for Senator Libous and others who have been having their own health challenges, that Binghamton University will play such an important role in helping develop the medicines of tomorrow. And now, you know, my role was to persuade my colleagues in the State Senate of the value, and State Assembly of the value of this project. And it's not always as easy as it may look. I've got some stubborn people in that group. But we were able to continue to emphasize the importance of Binghamton University, not only for this community, but for the state of New York and the entire country. Binghamton is a leader, and people are noticing it, and this is only going to help us pursue that even further. So now it is my pleasure to introduce the great governor of the great state of New York, who will tell you more about it, our Governor, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. It is my pleasure to be here. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. It's good news, and we're all together. First, to President Stenger, thank you so much for your leadership. You know, the president's position is a different kind of position than it used to be. SUNY president, you ran a college. You were an academic. Now the job has changed, like so much in the world has changed. Now you're a college president, academic / entrepreneur, because our SUNY schools now are also engines of new ideas that spur new jobs. And the way your president does it, he's part of the future. He's one of the best. Let's give him a round of applause. To Donna Lepardo, who is a great assemblywoman, she's also a great sport. We had a very active summer this summer of tourism activities because we were promoting tourism across upstate New York as one of the economic engines. So we were doing everything. We actually started in the winter, from snowmobiling to fishing to hiking. We were in the Adirondacks, and Donna came everywhere. I don't think it was 6 inches, that fish. It may have been challenged in terms of size, but it was a tenacious fish, I want you to know. And it was a fight to the death, but Donna won. Let's give her a round of applause. To our local officials, pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you very much. You know, this project, this situation sort of brings the whole story of Binghamton, upstate New York, sort of full circle. We've had a good 4 years in upstate New York. If you look at the numbers in upstate New York, we've had a better 4 years in the past years than we have in a very, very long time. All the arrows are pointed in the right direction, and we're making progress. The truth in upstate New York is also that we have a lot more progress to make. Why? Because we went through a very long period of decline. And that's the truth. People don't talk about it because it's not necessarily pleasant and uplifting, but it's the truth. And I believe you have to face the facts if you're going to change the facts and change the outcome. We had a problem in upstate New York, basically caused by the economic transition that the country went through. We were invested in manufacturing. That's what we did. Erie Canal. We were invested in manufacturing, and then the manufacturing economy disappeared on us almost overnight. And all those labor jobs went overseas to low-cost labor. And upstate New York suffered fundamentally, as did other parts of the country, but that's what we did in upstate New York. And it took its toll, no doubt, and there was a tough go. And then two other things happened that accelerated and compounded the problem. The first was the state government was nowhere to be found as a partner in transitioning upstate, right? Because now what you have to do, which is a monumental task, we did this as an economy, in the manufacturing economy, now we have to reposition ourselves in the new economy. That's very hard, that transition, that exercise. And you need help, and you need investors, and you need friends, and that was supposed to be the state government. And the state government was not there for upstate New York for a long time. Why not? First of all, they weren't there for anybody because they weren't even working. And Washington now has gridlock. They didn't discover gridlock. Albany discovered gridlock. Albany had gridlock before Washington ever thought of gridlock. And we had New York-style gridlock. It was a tenacious, nasty kind of gridlock that we had. So when Senator Libous talks about the Democrats and Republicans getting along, Democrats and Republicans working together, we tried it the other way. We had Democrats and Republicans like this for years. One says yes, the other one says no. Whatever the issue was. What color should we paint the door? All the Democrats say blue, all the Republicans say red. Just to do this. So the state government wasn't working. To the extent the state government was working, it was focused on downstate New York, because upstate New York was shrinking, people were moving downstate, was growing, and the focus was all on downstate. Donna, Senator Libous, fighting tenaciously for their hometown, but all the energy and the numbers in the legislature were downstate Long Island. So upstate New York basically was on its own. And then there was one other aggravating factor, which was the taxes in the state of New York are too high. So we're going through this economic transformation, and then we have the highest taxes in the nation. And you know what? People are smart, and people are mobile. And if you're going to have the highest taxes in the nation, they're going to move. Why? Because they can. That's why. My grandmother used to use an expression in Italian that was a little derogatory, but the nice interpretation was, you think you're the only smart person, you know. People are smart. If you're going to charge the highest taxes in the country, the business will move somewhere else, the people will move somewhere else, especially with the new technology and the new economy. You can be wherever you can be. We started to see people leave upstate New York. We saw businesses leave upstate New York. And upstate New York was left on its own on this difficult transition. That's the story of upstate New York. And that's a story that went on for 30, 40 years. I remember someone saying to me in Buffalo, I thought it was a joke at first. He said, you know, when it comes to the economy, we had a bad 50 years. And I thought about it. It's 50 years. 1960s. It's a bad 50 years. We're talking third, fourth generation now. And we're talking about a lot of cynicism and pessimism that builds up during that period of time. 4 years ago, we say we're going to reverse everything. First, we're going to get taxes under control. How? We're going to cut the taxes. We're going to reduce the state amount of spending, and then we're going to reduce the taxes. And we bring the state spending down to the lowest level in recorded history. State spending went up less than 2% a year. That's the lowest level increase in modern political history. Literally. We're under 2%. Under George Pataki, spending went up about 5.6% a year. Nelson Rockefeller went up 11% a year. We just brought the spending in the state way down. Because we brought the spending down, we could bring the taxes down. And we brought down the taxes all across the board. Lowest income tax since 1953, up to $350,000. Since 1953. Lowest corporate tax since 1968. Lowest manufacturing tax since 1917. So we bring down everyone's taxes. Literally everyone pays less taxes today than they did 4 years ago. So we send a different signal to the business community. Don't leave, we get it, stay with us. And then we pass the startup zones. What are the startup zones? Geographic zones that are zero tax zones. No taxes for 10 years. Any new business, any new job, no taxes for 10 years. The exact antidote to the problem we had, which was high taxes, people leaving. Well, Florida, Texas, they're no income tax states. Our startup zones are cheaper because even a no income tax state has some tax, property tax, value-added tax, etc. These are no tax zones. Totally flip the problem of New York being high tax. So we attack that problem of taxes, and then we focus on upstate, like a laser beam. Why? Because upstate New York needed the help. Frankly, the downstate economy is doing okay. It's the upstate economy that needed help. And we go to the New York State Legislature, and we say, we need to realign our priorities. It can't all be downstate, 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 downstate. Upstate needs the help. So we passed the startup zones. There are 64 startup zones in the state. Everybody wants them. Of the 64, 59 are in upstate New York. Why so many in upstate New York? Because that's where we needed the help. That's why. We start focusing on affirmative economic development actions. Region by region, we put together regional economic development councils to develop a plan for that region. President is on your region. They develop their own business plans, their own future business plans, and then we invest in those plans. Your region, over $220 million they've gotten over the past 4 years to rebuild the economy in Binghamton and the southern tier. An investment never made by the state before, because we understand that we have a partnership. And you start to see the numbers change, and the numbers are changing. The School of Pharmacy is a perfect demonstration of that philosophy. First, it happens a little bit differently than my friend Senator Libous told the story. It was true enough, the senator's story. It's some of the details that he got wrong. We were chatting on the phone, and the senator's a good friend of mine, and I'm a relative rookie in Albany, so I sometimes need a little interpretation and a little play-by-play counseling, so I go to my friend Senator Libous, and we're chatting, and I said to him offhand that, we should really think of what we should do next for BU. He says, well, I have some ideas. I think he's going to say they need a new van. they're going to say they need a new bus, maybe they need a new teacher. I said, well, what do they need? He says, a school of pharmacy. I said, what? Now I'm thinking maybe he wants a whole classroom or something. I said, well, how many people are in a school of pharmacy? Because I'm still thinking classroom size. Maybe 2 classrooms. And he starts to lay out his vision for the School of Pharmacy. And as I said about the president, it's not just a School of Pharmacy, which, by the way, we desperately need in this state. There are only 2 public schools of pharmacy. The other one is in Buffalo. Gets 1,000 applications per year for about 100 spots. So we need a School of Pharmacy. But a School of Pharmacy is not just a School of Pharmacy. It's a School of Pharmacy with a startup zone working with the hospital as an economic engine. Why? Because one of the big growth fields is biomedicine, new drug prescriptions, better made, faster made, different administration. That is one of the hot and projected to be hot growth sectors for this economy. So it's not just about a school. It's a school and an economic engine for the future. And that is exactly the right formula, not just for Binghamton, but that's the formula that's working all across this nation. You put together low taxes, or no taxes in this case, and a school of higher education that is providing the teaching of tomorrow, which is a pharmacy school, you now have the ingredients for an academic and an economic engine for a region. That's what this School of Pharmacy is. And that's what this vision is. And it wouldn't have happened if Senator Libous, who can be a great friend, and he can be charming, and he can be smooth, and he has a laugh, and he's got a nice smile. But when he wants something, it is like a tiger on your leg. They do not let go until he gets it. And the School of Pharmacy doesn't happen but for Senator Tom Libous. And I want to thank him for his advocacy because he was right. Let's give him a round of applause. And what a beautiful metaphor this is. Because the story of Upstate is a story of yesterday, and it's a story of tomorrow. The story of Upstate is a story that has been too much about yesterday. And too much of Upstate is about what we were, and there hasn't been enough about what we will be. Yesterday, I'm in Buffalo. Buffalo, what did they do? They made steel. That's what they did. They made steel, and one of their big plants was the Republic Steel plant. Employed 2,500 people. And one day, the Republic Steel plant was gone. And it was one of the big, traumatic economic dislocations in Buffalo. And the Republic Steel plant sat there, fallow, like a constant reminder of the death of the Buffalo steel economy. And it just sat there. And every time you drove past it, people remembered that's where we used to work. My grandfather used to work. My father used to work. Buffalo was built by hydroelectric power. That's what built Buffalo. Renewable, low-cost power. Yesterday, on this old Republic Steel plant site, we announced we're building a 1.2 million square foot manufacturer of solar panels to be the largest manufacturer in the world, potentially, of solar panels, which is environmentally the energy provider of the future, one of them. The site will employ 3,000 people, more than Republic Steel ever employed on the same exact site. From steel to solar, both based on low-cost power. That's what Buffalo was. That's what Buffalo will be. Today, this School of Pharmacy is going to be on the site that was the original old Endicott Johnson site. What was Johnson City, what made us in the first place, Endicott Johnson Industry, we made shoes, that's what we did. On that site, we will give birth to what will be the economy of the future of Binghamton and Johnson City. Yesterday was beautiful, and the history of upstate New York was beautiful, and I love it, and I love to read about it, and I love to talk about it. You know what's better than the history of upstate New York? The future of upstate New York. And that's what we're doing today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Governor. When you do things like this for us, it means that you trust us. When you look at this building, you walk the corridors, you see it filled with students and faculty doing the research, the companies that are involved in this building that's been here for 4 or 5 years now, you did it because they trusted us, and we delivered. Right next door, the Center of Excellence building, where we have 5 startup New York companies, we built it because you trusted us, and we delivered. Down the hill, Smart Energy building, big hole in the ground right now. You're trusting us for the future. And the high-tech incubator downtown, again, another investment that we really know will have a huge impact. You're trusting us. So we take your trust seriously. We're going to deliver. We're going to make the impact that you want. We're going to create new jobs, and it's going to be a lot of fun at the same time. I want to thank everybody who's helped us get to this place, too. Thanks very much, Andy.